Hello and welcome to Health Matters on Channels Television. Thanks for joining us. I am Mary Alale Yusuf. Our eyes help us take in the world around us and are important for children's development. Yet children get the short end of the stick when it comes to seeking eye care. Uncorrected refractive error, cataracts, and retinopathy of prematurity are just some of the causes of blindness and moderate to severe vision loss among children. And that's according to the International Agency for Prevention of Blindness, IAPB. The agency also says that short sight or myopia increased 1.5 times since the COVID-19 pandemic. Globally, 448 million children and adolescents have refractive errors, and it is estimated that 40% of children are blind from eye conditions that could have been prevented or could be managed if the child had access to eye care services. In Nigeria, children account for 46% of the over 200 million population, and at least 1 or 2 children are blind, and 16 will have visual impairment in a population of 1,000. Also, childhood ocular morbidity occurs in 6.54% of children. My guest is a consultant ophthalmologist and member of the Ophthalmological Society of Nigeria in Lagos State, Dr. Aduke Odutayo. You are welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So we're talking about children. We're talking about people at least below 18. Let's not insult the 18 and above. Let me start by asking, is a child's sight routinely checked at birth?
Every neonatologist and OBGYN consultant is concerned about not only the mother at the birth of a child, but the outcome, that is the child that is brought forth. So there's a thorough check from head to toe within the first 28 days of life. Okay. And abnormalities are taken note of. However, visual issues may take some time to establish. It's as the child develops that visual impairments start to show up.
Yes, because some of us have been told that a baby's eyes are not fully developed when he is born, that it takes time, and so they now feel that tests will not give a true picture of what the child's eye condition could be, and so there's no need.
No, that's not quite true. Children are sometimes born with pathology within that even a mother may not notice, except she takes the child to an eye care specialist like the ophthalmologist, who will do a deeper check. But in the newborn, color of the eyes, alignment of the eyes, structure of the eyes can tell their own stories, even if the child has not started expressing him or herself. And those are signals that caregivers need to take note of, whether the eyes are properly aligned, whether they are equal, whether there are structures around the eyes that don't look normal.
Like what?
You can have a child born with ptosis. You can have a child born with growths that are obvious. You can have a child born with cataracts, little white spots that you can see with the eyes.
Okay, so cataracts are things that we've always associated with older people.
True.
I've not heard of childhood cataracts.
Oh, there are some children that are born with even bilateral cataracts.
2 eyes?
Yes, both eyes. And they're related to issues that the mother had within during the pregnancy. A lot of them have to do with infections, use of traditional drugs, and the maldevelopment of the eyes established when you see a cataract.
Okay.
So once you see a cataract or 2 white spots, particularly for mothers who have had a child or 2 before, should pay particular attention
and immediately go to the hospital.
Intervene immediately.
Okay, so I hear mothers getting really excited and saying, oh, my child is seeing sharper, it took him only 2 days, it took him only 3 hours and stuff like that. So they are aware that it's not perfect when the child is born, but it gets better. At what point should a mother be concerned that her child's vision may not be all that?
When a child is born, in the early days, the neonatal period, the child starts to follow the mother's face. The eyes are stimulated by light.
Okay.
So the child can follow the gaze of a close-by object. Those are signals that that child is probably enjoying good vision. But when you see that your child is, you can't get your child's attention as quickly as you should. The child is not following the eyes. Your child is not even following objects. Those are signals that something may not be right. Or you see that one eye is distorted, what we call squint.
Okay.
One eye is deviated, or one eye is looking slightly smaller.
That's one eye is moving and following you, but the other is sitting in one place.
No, you know, when we look, both eyes look at the same
target.
Target, whether you're looking up or down.
That's right.
Same direction of gaze. Some eyes are deviated.
Okay.
Either they are deviated inwards or they're deviated outwards. Those are signals that there's a misalignment. There's a structural problem, you know, and the mother or caregiver needs to pay particular attention and intervene quickly.
Okay, so I've heard people say that he's a child, she's a child. Why am I wasting money on an eye test? There's no problem. So my question is, if a child seems normal, everything seems all right, when should the first eye test be initiated by the parent?
First of all, in observing the way that child grows, a child starts to bump into objects.
I'm even talking about a child who has good eyesight. Shouldn't the child shouldn't the child have a test normally, just like every normal adult?
Remember, when they were born, they were assessed.
Okay.
You know, and it is now the caregiver's observations that draws attention that this child may have an ocular challenge.
Okay.
Preschool now, most schools check the eyes of children. By the time they get into school, Lagos State, for instance, has introduced the corridor visual acuity test. It's a rough test that teachers can carry out to assess students. At 6 meters, just look at images, call out letters, and any child that falls short of a standard the expected standard visual acuity should be sent into the hospital for the professional to
That's
look
very
through.
commendable, but you know, everywhere isn't Lagos.
True.
And you know, I hear some parents reprimanding children for saying they couldn't see the board. Why can't you see the board? Everybody else can see the board.
Parenthood is not automatic. Parents should learn that it's a place where they need to know how to deal and understand the psychology of children. A child cannot express, I can't see. A child cannot even tell you, oh, somebody hit my eye in school. So the caregiver should be observant. Is the child moving close to objects to see? Is the child holding books very close to the eyes to point out images? These are signals that something is not quite right. And like I said earlier, are the eyes aligned? Are they looking equal? Are the colors right? You understand what I'm saying? The caregiver needs to play a vital role in preserving a child's future visual development.
Okay, so I believe that even adults, not just children,
right,
have a problem knowing that they may have an eye problem. As if it is not a pathology, it's not a sickness, something isn't oozing out of the eye and all that. They feel they are seeing quite well. And I know that adults need to have a regular eye check,
right,
especially when they come to a certain age. Would you say the same thing about children? Should they have a regular tests or milestone tests for their eyes?
The theme for World Sight Day this year is Love Your Eyes. So apart from the caregiver, we're teaching children to love their eyes, protect their vision, even before they get to the stage of understanding.
Okay.
This is coming from information of the caregiver. But if you observe that a child may have an issue, most schools now, particularly secondary schools, I'm not sure about primary, they insist on pre-school eye checks, and they send the children into the secondary care health centers or the primary health care centers with legal forms that child be assessed by a professional,
okay,
and document what the child is entering school with. Some don't do that, and it's when you get to class, you now realize that seeing the board is difficult, and an observant teacher, a sensitive teacher will know that this child is intelligent. What is the problem?
Okay.
You know, and will discover or call the parent and caregiver in that, check this child's eyes. I don't think he or she is seeing what I'm writing on the blackboard. I know he or she is very brilliant. But whenever it comes to write, whenever it comes to exams, they struggle with response to questions. So those are quick signals.
So just be vigilant.
Be very
Watch
vigilant.
the child.
Yes, yes.
Let me go back to something about early childhood. What is the meaning of retinopathy of prematurity?
Okay, like the word says, it's easy. It's a disease that occurs in premature children.
Okay.
Particularly in a category of premature children that are less than 1.3 kg. That is very tiny, you know. And the changes that occur in the eyes are in about 5 stages. You know, they occur at the posterior part of the eyes.
Okay.
You understand? So you need special neonatologist care and ophthalmologist assessment. Some of them, particularly stage 1 and 2, can reverse without anything, but it depends on the degree of involvement before visual impairment sets in. Yeah.
So there are some stages that cannot be helped.
Yeah, they leave a visual impairment. A retinopathy of maturity is not as important in when you analyze the causes of ocular pathology on this side of the world, but it does occur.
Okay.
It does occur. But
I believe there's a lot of refractive error then?
Of course, that is one of the most common causes in ocular morbidity in children.
Another term I want you to explain, ocular morbidity.
Okay.
The eyes died, or the eyes are sick.
No. It's just a medical term for pathology, disease.
Okay, disease of
morbidity.
the eyes.
Diabetes is a morbidity.
Okay.
Hypertension is a morbidity.
Okay.
So if you list all the problems a child could have, ocular morbidity are those problems that are eye-related.
And they are not structural?
Some may be structural, a lot of them are refractive errors. You know, remember we said 46% of children in Nigeria,
yes,
Nigeria's population, have ocular pathology. And most of the pathology in the eyes are preventable. And refractive errors play a very large portion of that.
What happens if these problems are not prevented and they're just left to run their course?
No, because when you assess a child, you come to a diagnosis. Okay. And if it's a preventable things, that's why you educate children and caregivers. Do your immunizations when the child is growing. Prevent ocular injury from trauma. Corneal scarring. Don't put breast milk, sugar solution, traditional treatment into urine.
That's so bad.
Yes, you know, I don't know where our people got it, but it's just something that is cultural here. These are things you can do to prevent or ensure that your child's eye grows maximally, optimal vision. If you now discover the things we discussed earlier, that a child is struggling to see, intervene quickly, intervene effectively.
Okay, so can we just run through a few of these preventable conditions?
Okay, we've mentioned refractive error, we've mentioned corneal scarring, we've mentioned, I would like to emphasize vitamin A deficiency.
Okay.
That takes us to nutrition.
But a lot of that can be sorted out by going for the ante and postnatal visits, right?
A lot of care, particularly retinopathy of prematurity, quality antenatal care also yields a healthy baby. You know, mothers are advised the do's and don'ts. They are given drugs, they examine, they do scans while they are pregnant so that the child that comes out will be healthy. But after birth, you still continue to go to postnatal visits. Mm-hmm. And the pediatrician assesses the baby's development. So immunization is now a part of the education at postnatal visits. Good nutrition for development, not just the entire body, but the eyes in particular. How to handle children that may have vitamin A deficiency or are prone to. As the child develops, you protect them from injury to the eyes.
Okay, yes.
Sharp objects.
Trauma, actual trauma.
Trauma, you know.
Broomsticks.
Yes, you're right. And you know, a child will be a child. So the caregiver's role is so vital in teaching them till they come to understanding how to love their eyes. No fighting. Don't let anybody put a pencil at you playfully in class. And should it happen and the caregiver observes, they should intervene. A lot of these things are reversible. The problem comes when the cornea is scarred.
Okay, so we're going to talk about corneal scarring, but we need to go on a break right now. We're going on a break, and we'll be back shortly. Stay with us. Welcome back. It's Channels TV, Health Matters, and we are talking about your children's eyes. This is the time you can call in and ask your questions on the topic. The number to call is 0808-054-2233. You can also send a message on X at CTV_Mary A, or send me email to moalale@channelstv.com. We were talking about scarring. Corneal scarring. I guess that's that can be caused by the broomsticks, the pencils, and all that stuff. Traditional,
medical,
yes.
The breast, the urine, the
sugar.
Yeah, they can melt the cornea.
Melt.
Yes, and if it continues, some have perforation, and the eyeball is destroyed.
That's awful. But then you were also talking about nutrition.
Yes.
Is it possible that a child who doesn't eat a balanced diet can go blind?
If the quality of food given lacks vitamin A, and there's vitamin A deficiency is detected, there are ways to go about it. Supplements can be given to correct and reverse the situation. But you find people who are not even aware the child has an issue, neither are they aware that they can intervene.
But what does it take really to give your child a bit of vitamin A? Carrots?
There's so many of your veggies.
Okay.
And thank God we're blessed on this side of the continent with vegetables, seasonal. So just so many of them.
So a little spinach here, carrots,
most of our diet, yes, have vegetables in it. You can go the way of salad, you can cook them, but we are blessed. So there's adequate vitamin A in these sources of diet.
Could you explain the relationship between short sight and COVID-19?
I'm sure there's no link.
But people keep saying that they discovered more short sight
after
COVID-19.
I'm not sure that is a correct assessment.
So
I don't know where the data
they're still looking into.
Yes, I'm not sure about the data.
All right. Okay, so we are getting a call from Michael in VI. Hello, Michael. What's your question?
Okay, so the program is on eye care in children, but my own is as related to me, adults, but related to eye care. Yeah, good morning, ma. How are you doing today? Good afternoon, sorry.
Good afternoon to you. She's waiting for your question.
Okay. I was told I have glaucoma.
Okay.
I've been taking eye drops and the rest of them. So is there any other thing one can do?
Okay, thank you, Michael.
Glaucoma is one of the common causes of blindness among the adult population, and is also common on this side of the continent. Glaucoma is a painless, irreversible blinder. Irreversible blinder. So whenever Michael got to the doctor, whatever level of vision he had, whatever his visual acuity, best corrected visual acuity was, is what the ophthalmologist and the eye team are trying to preserve.
So they can only maintain what they can brought to them.
Yes. Okay. I remember that age will also set in. Degeneration will also set in as Michael grows older. However, there's assessments of the eyes that include intraocular pressure checks, assessment of the back, particularly the optic nerve head, assessments, regular routine checks.
So this is the advice that you're giving Michael?
Yes.
He should go for his regular routine checks.
Compliance with therapy, and recognize the fact that other comorbidities may exist with glaucoma.
Okay.
He may begin to develop a cataract. He may begin to develop presbyopia. Presbyopia simply means you start finding it difficult to see tiny objects, particularly in the dark. Those are age-related.
Those are age-related things. It will happen eventually.
It will happen eventually. So he can also intervene surgically, but that will be on the advice of the ophthalmologist that is assessing him.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So, Michael, maybe a little more consultation with your specialist to see if there's something else they can do. And compliance. All right. So, we can't go around this one. You see, many adults do not go for eye care until it is too painful not to, or it's too debilitating not to. And so they don't see any reason why they should add on a child because they feel it's too expensive. Is anything being done anywhere about the cost of eye care?
Okay, for children, we're going to put the spotlight on them this year. I'm aware that recently, since we realized that refractive errors is one of the commonest preventable causes. Lagos State, again, is a step ahead, if I may say so. And they're introducing cheap eyeglasses, trying to incorporate them into primary healthcare level so that they become effective and easily affordable, you know, just for the that population, to sort them out. Remember, refractive error is in categories. There's some that are so low that if as the child develops and grows, they seem to disappear. And you have a mother saying, will it be corrected?
Yes, they always have that question. It's
difficult to answer, but you can explain it that if it's a small error,
he could grow out of it.
Yes, as the body develops.
Because the eye is growing.
Yes, and the body is maturing. But if it's a high error, the child is likely to put on the glasses for a longer time. And they should also understand that the child, after a while, this is why we said love your eyes. The child takes over protection of the eyes. Put on your glasses, take care of them, don't let the lenses get scratched. Don't let amblyopia set in. You understand? And they will be good.
All right. Let's take this call from Adewale. He's calling from K2. Hello, Adewale. What's your question?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, I was watching the channel 9 in respect of the eye, although they emphasize too much on it.
Go on, Adewale. Your TV is loud. If you can turn down your volume, it won't be howling back at you. Hello? Appears we've lost Adewale, and that was shaping up to be a very good question. If you can call back within the time, that will be perfect. Okay, so you were saying that cheap glasses for children, cheap frames.
At the level of the primary healthcare. So that it takes away the pressure from the secondary healthcare, certainly not tertiary.
Most of the cost is actually in the frame.
Yes, they've incorporated it. The optometrists are available in the primary healthcare setting now. And so the schools can even direct children to the districts, local government districts.
So parents should not be scared to send their children
for eye tests. They have nothing to worry about. In fact, it's value added. After all, these children are your future.
Are there any restrictions? Is every child who comes all comers?
Once you are questioning it, because the teachers assess you in school, they watch you, they watch how you are developing and educationally how you are getting along. Anybody that suspects that there's eye challenge, visual challenge, just send that child in for a check.
Perfect. And that's where we bring this show to a wrap. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Dr. Aduke Udutayo.
Thank you for having me.
Wonderful having you. And thank you, all our viewers, for watching. Please take care of your children's eyes and your eyes. Special thanks to Adewale and Michael for your questions. Have a wonderful day. I am Mary Alale.